It's okay, you got a second chance. Instead, it's Connor McDavid again. Back-to-back.
Brianna writes, this is toxic masculinity on display to a video of a man throwing a water bottle in frustration. She goes on to say that this is a horrible abusive look.
A, that is bullshit. And B, she is a complete bitch.
Well, while we are on the subject of abuse, mothers commit far more child abuse than fathers do. Actually, 63% more. Would you say this is a classic case of toxic femininity or perhaps toxic motherhood?
So for a little context here, the guy in the video there is Bill Zito. He is the GM of the Florida Panthers NHL hockey team. And that was after Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals they had just lost. They just lost 2 in a row, and he was afraid that his team was going to implode for a second year in a row to lose the finals. Like everyone in that box, him, the people behind him, all the men on the ice there are at the pinnacle of their fucking careers. The men on the ice have worked towards that moment their entire fucking lives through blood, sweat, and tears. The fans, the company, they want to see a GM who cares that much. And I guarantee you, everyone in that box understands what he's going through. Not only understands, but they're feeling the exact same way. They're not feeling threatened. Like, how is it acceptable for a grown-ass woman with millions of followers to use that platform to label this man abusive, using that intentional language based on this video in that circumstance, undermining everything that these men have had to go through to get to that point in their careers with one childish little fucking tweet. Let me tell you something, Rihanna. Men are allowed to feel feelings, and we don't have to feel feelings the way you think feeling feelings is acceptable. And another thing, like, if that is so goddamn toxic and abusive, why then is this labeled an empowering rage ritual? Check it out.
Well, well, well. How the turntables.
I'm sure y'all have seen this nonsense by now too.
This is the worst.
I don't know if you noticed the thumbnail I made. The images I used for the man and the woman and what they were doing were very similar, and obviously that was intentional. Like, they're doing the exact same fucking thing, and yet one is labeled toxic and abusive and the other one an empowering rage ritual. Like, it is quite the fucking racket that these modern women have going for them. You know, making men walk on eggshells just to fucking exist. Like, I'm so sick and tired of men being painted as villains for no good goddamn reason. I'm so sick and tired of the double standards and hypocrisy that are not only acceptable, but downright commonplace in the prevailing feminist narrative that is pushed all through media these days.
Would you ever sign a prenup?
Yeah.
You would?
I absolutely would. I don't think I could do it without.
Okay.
Cool. No doubt.
I want to be able to decide where my assets go if we divorce.
What if he was a multimillionaire?
In that case, no.
What?
If it's to my advantage, then yes, absolutely a prenup.
Here's a fucking surprise.
So if he was richer than you, then you wouldn't sign it?
Yeah, I guess. Guess I'm a hypocrite.
They always say, like, anybody can be president of the United States, right? Like, everybody in America has the same opportunities. But what they found is that some people have one opportunity and other people have many opportunities. And that's the difference.
So are you saying the world isn't fair?
But you're saying... Yes, of course. No, but you're saying suck it up.
Blah, blah, blah. Who cares?
When a woman starts talking, stop listening. Be a man.
I ain't got my glasses. How much are these?
$9.99.
You think I can get some bitches with these?
It is a mathematical certainty.
Why is it more socially acceptable for women to hate men than it is for men to hate women?
I don't think that is acceptable for either.
Because women have always been oppressed versus men have always been on the top, so it's kind of like misogynistic. Misogynism is not as accepted as like trashing men.
Because men have the power.
Do all men have the power, or just a few men at the top of the food chain?
It doesn't matter. They still have the power struggle.
Aren't the majority of homeless people men?
Probably, but again, we all suffer under the same patriarchy.
You hear how she changed up there, right? At first it was, you know, we suffer under men. Men have all the power, patriarchy. The minute he said men suffer too, it was like, well, we all suffer under this patriarchy, so fucking deal with it. And look, if we all suffer the same way under the same patriarchy, why is it that women are the only ones allowed to bitch about it and use intentional language like patriarchy that insinuates oppression? Instead of realizing that maybe, just maybe, to this day, in a lot of cases, men are just more suited to that leadership role. No, it's got to be oppression, right? And look, this may be a controversial view, but I honestly think that women love the position there and they just don't realize it yet. They don't want the responsibility of power in most cases. They just want the benefits, which is exactly what they have. You know, they got all the same rights and benefits as men do, if not more these days, but they don't quite have as much power still. So that puts them in perfect position to enjoy all the privileges, but at the same time, they can play victim and bitch and moan about why they don't have power. And I think we can agree that that's a position that women can thrive in, right? Joking, not joking, of course.
It's like, when it comes to you and all your problems and your point of view, I have to be there and support it and understand it. But when it comes to me and my stuff, no one gives a fuck. Sorry.
It's okay. If you look at jobs like labour jobs, I mean, the majority of women aren't in labour jobs and people love to scream, oh, this is inequality and women aren't welcome in these industries. No, be real with yourself. Do you actually want to be on a construction site? And the majority of women don't want to be there. So that's why we're not there.
Correct. Thank you.
Hey, just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying the video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, ring the bell, all that shit. If you're new here, hope you consider subscribing. I appreciate you. Let's get right back into it.
Are you letting him smash on the first date?
No, because I'm not that easy.
What do you mean you're not that easy?
I don't let them hit the first night.
What if it was an NBA player?
I mean,
you would let him.
It's a lifetime thing. Because I'm not that easy.
Gold digging whore. When I was 26, I was married, which is crazy. But by the way, don't do that. Well, no, look, I don't mean to badmouth marriage. You can get married and it can work out, but not if you're 26 and a dude. That's way too young, okay?
He ain't lying.
Maybe some of you are 26 and married out there, in which case, oops. But you know what I mean? It's not gonna work out, you know? I mean, it might, but it won't. You know what I mean? But it could, but it's not going to, right?
Naturally. Continue.
But some of you are like, but this one's special, and you're wrong, but yeah, you're not special. You're just somebody.
You know, a lot of things changed when my girl got pregnant. Like my name, number, address.
Oh boy.
Women have actually been asking men for decades, if not centuries, to show their feelings.
A few moments later.
These men, they're doing impossible things. They're under the streets, working on the sewers. They're up on the power lines in the storms and the rain. They're keeping this impossible infrastructure functioning. This thing that works in a miraculous manner. They work themselves to death. And often literally, it's very useful to tell everyone, not just men, that they have an important role to play, a necessary role, and that if they act properly and honestly and forthrightly, that they can put their lives together and they can help their families and they can make their communities better, and that that's not toxic masculinity, that appalling phrase.
I should set it all up in this.
I honestly struggle to understand how anyone, no matter what you believe, could listen to what Jordan Peterson is saying here and then choose to make a video just to mock it. Like, it really doesn't make sense to me. Not one, not two, but 3 women who you know couldn't survive a single fucking day without the thousands upon thousands of men taking care of the countless things in their everyday lives that they take for granted, that make life easier, that make life more comfortable, and this is the appreciation they show. Yet another reason why we do not let women dictate how we show our emotions. But the sad thing is, this is the mentality of the modern feminist movement. And it's exactly why more men need to start pushing back against this kind of thing, but pushing back in a way that does not veer you off course from your moral compass. And look, I know it's hard to escape this shit. It's all over the place. It's all in the media. But if ever it starts getting under your skin, you just got to do your best to keep in mind this one very important lesson that I know every single one of us learned when we were kids.
First before this, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Junk before trunk.
Alright, balls before dolls.
Padres before I sleep with two madres.
Brad Pitt before grab
These nuts before skinny sluts.
Masturbate before ask her to date.
Mario and Luigi before Thelma and Louise.
Bert and Ernie before squirt and spermy.
Man purses before regular purses.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does.
All right, brother.
What are you doing?
I'm burying you.
I'm alive! I'm alive! No!
Shut up!
No!
This is your fault. I want to sleep good tonight.
Don't you touch my drum! Stop it!
You're not growing your own basil. What are you doing?
I'm doing my best.
My man.
The Kipling poem is one of my favorites. My father read it to me once. To me as a little boy, it summed up what a man should be. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two imposters just the same, or watch the things you gave your life for broken and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at the beginning and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. Yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.